Hi guys, Kaze here. Welcome back. It's been a bit. It's Valentine's Day today, so of course we're gonna get some as many, a lot of videos up as we can in celebration of Valentine's Day. First up, of course, is Heart of the Woods, a Yuri game that is actually coming out tomorrow, so that's why we're working on it today. Anyway, it's a Yuri game that will be out on Steam, possibly a few other locations. Not sure on the price, but yeah, it's going to be out tomorrow if you want to, of course, play it. There is a demo version you can play as well on the Steam store, so check it out if you enjoy it. And possibly put it on your wish list. Anyway, let's get started and see what Heart of the Woods is all about. Chapter 1. Of course, we like it a lot. We will totally keep doing videos. A winter wonderland. That's how this place was pitched to us. Out in the middle of a forest with an unpronounceable name in a village that time forgot. In the email, it sounded like every other ghost hunter's paradise that we get messaged about. Isolated, antiquated, with a tourism board encouraging hokey effects and gaudy billboards. The vast majority of those emails go unanswered. If Tara runs capricious, this one probably would have been too. But no. Something about journeying to the middle of nowhere for a month struck her fancy, and like always, I let myself get dragged into it. So here I am, for the last time. Oh my god, I love how it looks. Your train beats out a slow, monotonous rhythm beneath us. It's an older machine, the sort of it looks like it's supposed to take us to a wizarding school, or it should be in a museum. When I brought the tickets, I thought we'd be getting on something like Amtrak. Oops. I shifted my seat. The tattered cushion and wooden boards doing little to soothe the pain in my back. We've been on this train for 12 hours, and I can feel every one of them in my bones. Tara's been out for the past 6, upright but fast asleep. If the bumpy ride bothers her, she doesn't show it. The paperback she was reading out dangles low in her hands, in danger of losing her spot in the book. I scuff my feet across the floor, kicking at nothing. As tired as I am, I'm afraid for our journey to end, for Tara to wake up, to have to talk to her. I'm almost offended that she can sleep. She should be as preoccupied as I am, fighting off intrusive thoughts and wondering what to say. You wouldn't know from looking at her that we've barely spoken for 3 days. That's how long ago I told her this would be our last trip for the show together, and that I was quitting once we got home. Everything since then, packing, booking our tickets, finding someone to take care of the cat while we were gone, happened in a blur. We've been cordial, but that's it. My head hurts, but it tells me I made the right decision. Yawning, I lean back against my seat and pretended it's comfortable. The cushions are unnoticeable, nearly as firm as the wooden floor beneath us. A heater in the corner hems and haws like an old man, but it's not nearly powerful enough to fight off the chill. I desperately wish that I could sleep too, but one of us needs to be awake when we get to the station, and that should be any minute now. Plus, I've never been able to fall asleep on the planes, or trains anyway. My eyes are sore, and I rub one of them as I press my cheek to the cold window. Outside, it may as well be another world compared to the city we left behind. If not for the moonlight, I wouldn't be able to see anything. But the soft white glow gives the snow and nearby forest glisten like it's under some sorcerer's spell. Winter wonderland. The trees are all bare, save for the blanket of snow that covers them. Their empty branches look like something out of a kid's Halloween movie, shaking in the wind as if possessed. They seem to stretch on forever, farther than I can even see. It's more like an ocean than a forest. Morgan certainly wasn't exaggerating when she said this place was remote. Intimate lights flicker amongst the trees in the distant darkness, which I assume come from either winter campers or hermits. I call them crazy, but I'm about to be in the exact same position. Something catches my eye way out in the woods. One of the trees, barely visible, seems to shake in a different way from the rest, as if blown by a different breeze. A thin layer of frost is beginning to form on the outside of the window as I push my face against it. turning to try and find whatever it was I saw. It was gone, though. I was almost certain it never even been there to begin with. Either my eyes were playing tricks on me, or the moonlight was. I sighed and sit back again, allowing my eyes to barely close. I won't fall asleep. I'll I jostled back into alertness as the train lurches harder than before. There's a shrill whistling sound, and the shudders of the train grow stronger as we begin to slow down. The driver hit the brakes. We're almost there. Across me, Tara is undisturbed. Somehow she still hasn't dropped her book. Apparently, she's less clumsy when she's asleep. Through the frosted window, I can see the lights of what must be Eisenfield. As we approach the station, they're few and far between, like scattered stars. The buildings appear to be placed sporadically, nestled on and around a hill. As we round a bend, the village goes out of sight once more. I can't really put this off any longer. I lean over and shake Tara's shoulder. Hey, wake up! We're almost there. Without opening her eyes, Tara mumbles a response. How close is almost there? Seriously? I don't know. A couple of minutes? Okay, I'm getting up. She is getting up. I mean it. If you sleep through the stop, we're just going to... I'm up, Mads. She finally opens her eyes. I cut off the end of my sentence, not sure if I was serious or not. We're not even there yet, and we're already snappy. God, I wish I could sleep. Just a little longer, I tell myself. You excited? A little bit. Lie. You? Kinda nervous still. What is there to be nervous about? We've done this 1,000 times. Yeah, well, this isn't like those other 1,000 times. And you know that. She shrugs again, not meeting my eyes. I don't know, Maddie. I'm sorry. Let's chill. Yeah, sorry. We lapsed into silence. At least when she was asleep, it wasn't awkward. I just want off of this train. I want to be distracted by going to the cabin and taking in the new sights. Any minute now. Hey, listen. Yeah? I know you're, like, not super thrilled to be here. She pauses, likely hoping for me to disagree. I don't. But let's just be cool, okay? Let's just try and have a good time. I breathe a deep sigh and let it out slowly. She's right. I'm committed to this trip. I can at least make it easy on myself. Yeah, okay. Sorry for getting bitchy. I'm tired. I feel you. Hey, how do I look? Like you just slept for 6 hours on a train. Not bad, huh? She messes with her hair in an attempt to improve its state. The results are unnoticeable at the best. Hopefully it's good enough for Morgan Fisher. Morgan Fisher. If she's meeting her online hero or whatever, then I doubt she'll care if your hair's a mess. God, I hope not. I don't want to end up on some Fashion Fox vid. For real though. If she's super fangirly, then let's just get her out of her system and hopefully she won't make things weird later. Making things get weird later is kind of your specialty though. Yeah, true. But hey, it's got us to 250,000 subs, so like, we must have been doing something right. I just nod. I still can't help but fixate on how everything she says is in past tense. It's over after this. It's fully my decision. All I have to do is say the words and things will go back to normal. I doubt Tara would ever bring it up again if I asked her not to. It'd be so easy. Well, it's a pretty little town though. Okay. I was like, Heart of the Woods. Wasn't sure what the screen was. We step off the train and into another world. A frigid wind sucks the heat from my body almost immediately, as if it had been waiting until we arrived to pelt us until our skin felt like it was burning. I instinctively wrap my arms around myself to try and preserve what little body heat I have left. But it doesn't change a thing. I might as well not even be wearing a coat for all good mine does. As nice as it is to have the moon keeping things from being completely pitch black, I could really go for some cloud cover right about now. Anything to keep some warmth around us. Tara doesn't even notice the cold. Armed with nothing but her signature jacket, she seems immune to the chill. She oohs and ahs all over the rustic train platform, like there's something, like there might be a ghost hiding in the rafters. So, maybe. Just a minute later, our train rumbles off into the night, leaving us behind. A single passenger boarded. Tara watches it go, nodding in approval. Who leaves this late at night? Okay, this place is pretty killing it in terms of atmosphere. It's like she's completely forgotten the uncomfortable energy that had filled the train. Back to her usual overly excited self. Sorry, I was wondering what this was for a second. I'm like, what? It's a hair clip. I get it. They both have hair clips. I'm okay. Sorry. I should probably be bitter, but instead, I can't help feeling jealous of how she can just shake it off. She has a little pocket camera she's been carrying with her, and she uses it to take a few pictures of the inky blackness surrounding us. I glance upwards at the light, which hang from the ceiling. They're small candles, lit with real flames as opposed to electric. One of them has blown out and swings uselessly in the breeze. They're about as ineffective at keeping away the darkness as my coat is at keeping me warm. A little light will surely ruin Tara's photos, but she's snapping away without a care. You know none of those are actually going to be visible, right? She ignores me. I should probably just let her enjoy the moment. This place really does feel super eerie. Listen. I do, and it soon becomes apparent that she's referring to silence. All around us, it's quiet. Even the sound of the train has faded, leaving us in total solitude. The flickering lights of Eisenfield seem impossibly far away, though I know it can't be more than a half-hour's walk. It's so quiet, isn't that cool? We're definitely not in Kansas anymore. That's one way to put it. I strain my ears and look forward for any hint of Morgan, who's supposed to be picking us up. I think the sound of a car engine would carry pretty far out here. For real though, I think this could be the place where we finally get some hard evidence. Something solid. She says this every time, but usually sounds like she means it more. Just look at it. Something's gotta be out there. I can feel it. We both look off towards the trees. From the train, it was difficult to see where they ended. Here on the platform, it was impossible. My expectations aren't any higher than usual, though, which is to say, non-existent. I wonder if Tara really believes what she's saying, either. When she speaks again, her voice is quiet. That would be the perfect send-off, wouldn't it? Her words sting. Damn it, not here. Not already. I want to try and deflect away from this somehow, to set her back on her path, to let her enjoy this moment without me spoiling it. Who knows, maybe this will be the one that finally gets you a con panel so you don't have to crash someone else's. That was one time and their panel will just sucked without me. Her voice was an edge of her typical bravado again. It was a relief to hear. She returns to her camera and I give myself a moment to try and take in my surroundings. Supernatural or not, there's something oddly serene about this place. That said, I'd like it a lot more if it wasn't so damn cold. I shiver and cross my arms even tighter. Surely Morgan will be here soon. I can't wait to see the village tomorrow. I hope it's like one of those museum exhibits with little replica towns and people. In what way? Like, architecturally? She sounded out the words slowly. All rustic and old-timey. I can't imagine that'd be different from home. You've gotta be modern enough for Morgan to watch paranormal after all. If you're expecting people to be walking around in monocles and waistcoats, you're going to be disappointed. And here I thought I'd finally get a chance to show off how amazing I look in a top hat. I'm sure you'll be the teen heartthrob of the Victorian era. She gives me a brief snort of amusement. Her response feels more muted than usual, but the fact that we're still able to banter is a good sign. I'm glad I can cheer her up, even if I was the cause of her low mood in the first place. However, after a moment, she looks back at me. Her expression serious for once. Okay, so, about Morgan. Like I said before, let's give her a chance to get all the excitement out of the way first. We should be nice and friendly, but let's try to keep it professional. I never thought I'd hear you, of all people, say that. I find myself flashing back to all the unprofessional situations I've had to extricate Tara from, ranging from bad one-night stands to actual police custody. There are a lot of ways I could describe Tara, but professional is definitely not one of them. Hey, I usually make a good first impression. It's about the second impression beyond that you gotta watch out for. I laugh out loud at that, and I catch her smirking before she looks away. She can play cool all she wants, but I can tell from the way she's bouncing up and down that she's undeniably excited for this fangirling she mentioned. It's usually one of her favorite parts. I'm sure a little ego boost would go a long way right about now. I can feel myself hopping back and forth slightly as well, but that's more out of desire to keep my blood flowing. Thankfully, it wasn't too long before I see a silhouette of someone approaching through the storm. Oh, thank God. That's gotta be her, right? Given that we're the only people out here, I really hope so. As the girl gets closer, she gets easier to see. She's not exactly an imposing figure, but she moves with purpose. She's carrying a large thermos, which she raises in greeting as she approaches. I wave back. One of the first things I notice about her is that for some ungodly reason, she's not wearing a coat. All she's got to protect her from the frigid weather is what looks like a hand-knitted sweater, much like Tara. Once she reaches the platform, she greets us with nothing more but a tired smile and a small nod. Not exactly the geeking out Tara was expecting. Hey there, you two. Sorry I'm late. Her voice is friendly, but flat. She sounds like she hasn't slept in days. Tara looks a little taken aback by how subdued she is. Recovering quickly, she puts on her big celebrity grin. No worries. Are you Morgan? That's right. It's nice to meet you, Tara. Morgan's smile doesn't seem to grow warmer as she... Sorry, it does grow warmer as she greets her, but her face quickly regains a neutral expression a moment later. I've seen Tara's smile faltering as she realized this was clearly the maximum amount of geeking out this girl was capable of. To her credit, she recovers well. Likewise, charmed, I'm sure. Okay, maybe not that well. Tara extends her hand and Marie gives her a brief handshake before turning to me. You're Madison, right? I think we spoke online already. Just Maddie is fine. Nice to meet you. She shakes my hand as well. It's a firm, friendly handshake that ends as quickly as it begun. Before she continues, she takes another sip from her thermos. I find myself wishing for a cup of coffee, too. It's really nice to meet the two of you. I'm sure you received a lot of invitations, so I'm glad you're interested in mine. Are you kidding? Remote village in the middle of a huge forest? There's no way to pass that up. I've heard all kinds of stories about the things you find in places like this. Hopefully not too many, or I won't have anything new for you. Oh, I'm sure you've got something it'll be interesting. Real smooth, Tara. So much for being professional. I can see Morgan's mouth twitching slightly at the comment. I can only hope it was something closer to a smile than a grimace. Tomorrow, I can show you around the village. There isn't too much out of the ordinary there, but I'm sure you'll find a few things that interest you. That would be wonderful. We can go sightseeing while Tara isn't off chasing the spirits around in the woods. Morgan and I both smile. Tara flashes me a look of mock annoyance for the slight. But it's probably eating her up that I've gotten more reaction out of Morgan than she has. It's about a half-hour's carriage ride to the cabin if you guys want to head out. Do you need help with your bags at all? Tara lifts her bag, giving Morgan another shiny grin. I'm pretty sure I see her accidentally flex her arms too. Don't even worry about it. I got this. Okay, cool. This way. As we follow her, I can see Tara pouting behind her. I've never seen the wind get taken out of her sails like that. At least that gives her another thing to think about besides my departure. Wait a second. Did she say carriage? No way! We're standing in front of an honest-to-God horse-drawn carriage. If it weren't for the little white puffs of breathing coming from the horses' noses, I'm willing to believe that it was some sort of commemorative statue. This is so cool! Is it yours? It belongs to my family. Given that there are any roads to the woods, there isn't really a point for anyone out here owning a car. I move closer to examine the craftsmanship as best as I can in the moonlight. The design is fairly bare bones, but a few flourishes here and there and some semi-ornate painting finishes make it clear that this was something built with love and care. Somehow, I'm the only one who seems intrigued by our ride. Tara, come take a look at this. As I speak, I look back and see her staying completely still, as if the cold was rooted her to the spot. Give me a second. I'm just taking in the view a bit. From a distance. She's trying to act nonchalant, but her wide eyes keep looking toward the horses. Her previously genuine sprint had turned into a very nervous grimace. Oh, goodness, her face. Slowly inching forward, she scoots further away from the horses as she approaches the carriage. I doubt she planned for part of her first impression to be Morgan learning that she's absolutely terrified of horses. She better learn to at least tolerate them, or this is going to be an even longer trip than I expected. Wait, is this the only way through the woods? How are we going to get back and forth between the cabin and the village? Don't tell me we'll have our own carriage. Neither one of us can drive one. Oh, I'm going to be driving you. I can take you back and forth and help you navigate the woods. You didn't expect me to just let you wander around a forest in the middle of nowhere without a guide, did you? Tara, still slowly making her way towards the carriage, does her best to give me a look of excitement. If anything, it resembles a look of a panicked hostage. The fact that she's still trying to play it cool is almost admirable in its futility. You sure it's not a problem? I hate to inconvenience you any more than we already have. It's no trouble. I run my own shop, so my schedule is pretty flexible. I'm more than happy to help. She looks over at Tara, who's finally made it within a few feet of the carriage. She shoots us both a thumbs up. I have a feeling she might need it. Trust me, you have no idea. Morgan turns and deftly swings up into her seat, taking hold of the reins. Tara finally manages to place her hands on the carriage and climb up to sit alongside her, shaking all the way. I let out a sigh of relief and follow suit, mounting up next to Tara. It's a little cramped up here, but I'd feel weird just sitting by myself. Besides, not keeping an eye on Tara's pretty guaranteed way to make the even worse first impression. So, can you do any tricks on this thing? Okay. The path to the cabin turns out to be a complicated one. We've been making twists and turns through the trees for a few minutes, but Morgan seems to know exactly where she's going. Not even the dark can stand in her way. You can navigate through all this with just that little lantern? How can you see landmarks? Don't worry, I know the woods better than just about anything. Besides, the moonlight is more than enough for me. I can't help but feel embarrassed as I think about all the times I had to use the flashlight on my phone just to find something I dropped in the car. I definitely wouldn't last out here. Looking over, I can see Tara bouncing her leg, probably about to launch into a torrent of questions from Morgan. After that flubbed introduction, she's clearly a little less gung-ho than usual, but I know that won't stop her. As such, I could probably get my handling on the actual adult stuff out of the way quickly before it gets lost in the noise. Is there anything about the town or the people we should know? Local customs, things to avoid saying, that sort of thing? Morgan thinks about it for a moment, silent. There's a curfew at midnight. Also, you're not supposed to go too far into the forest. I ignore both of those rules a lot. Okay then. Most of the villagers tend to be sticklers about them, though. Great, so our host is a troublemaker. I guess that means Tara will be in good company. So, while we're on our way, could you tell us about some of the specific supernatural occurrences you've seen out here so far? Here she goes. Morgan sits up at the question. She looks over towards us, her eyes seem to lose a bit of her constant drowsiness. She's been waiting for this. Well, We have a lot of freak weather events, strange storms that appear and disappear, or are all localized to a certain part of the forest in ways that shouldn't be possible. Tara nods solemnly, already totally enraptured in what Morgan is saying. Sometimes when I walk in the woods, I can see strange lights here and there, like tiny little stars inside the forest. I've never been able to get close to them, though. I raise my eyebrow, but I don't say anything. We have countless cases of strange lights before, all of which have ended with rational explanation. That doesn't seem to dampen Tara's spirits, though. I start to drift off. This is more of Tara's jurisdiction anyway, so I'm sure you can just wake me up when we get there. Tara did sleep for 6 hours. We barely slept any. It seems reasonable enough. There's also my cat. Cat. Your cat is a supernatural occurrence? I have no idea. She can talk, so I'd say so. Her words snap me on my trance. Looking over at her, I expect to see her holding in a laugh or spreading some sort of mischievous grin, but her face is as serious as it's been since we arrived. Your cat can talk? Like, talk the way a human does? Yes, she's very well spoken, in fact. I try and hide a sigh. Weird weather and lights in the forest are ambiguous enough that we can play along with them. But every so often we get these blatantly fake claims too, like a talking cat. Tara, however, instantly perks up once her words sink in. She can't actually believe that, right? So, can we talk to her? She won't mind if I ask her a few questions, right? I was hoping you'd ask. I think you'll be very interested in what she has to say. The whole thing is clearly some kind of joke, but Tara's absolutely taken in. I can practically see the wheels turning in her head as she plans out her follow-up questions. Oh, that's never good. So, do you have any ideas about what could be causing it? Something in her diet, maybe? I don't think so. Have you been feeding her some kind of special Einsenfield cat food? Can I try some? Okay, I think that's enough of that. When Tara starts talking about eating cat food, it's time for me to exercise a little diplomacy and move the conversation forward. Crazy or not, I think we should move on. So, what kind of things does she talk to you about? Just about our lives, for the most part. I figured you'd be better off hearing it from her rather than me. I'm sure that would be illuminating. I'll say, if there's something that paranormal in the village itself, you must have seen way crazier stuff in these woods. She starts to gesture as she talks, pointing back towards the village and swinging her arms around as she mentions the woods. Well, there's one pretty major thing, but you probably won't believe me. I wouldn't have come here if I didn't believe you. Anyway, you just have to say it. I want to hear it. I can't detect a hint of cynicism in her voice. Either she really believed that this girl was just met as a talking cat, or she's giving a performance worthy of an Oscar. I think both are quite likely. Are you sure? 110%. Lay it on me. She winks at her and flashes her finger guns back in celebrity mode. Tara's good at recovery with these things, but I've never seen her recover on this level with such speed. But as I watch her lean towards Morgan, I make sure she catches her next statement. There's another possible reason for her passionate response. If there's one thing she loves more than hearing strange stories, it's trying to impress a cute girl. Now things are starting to fall into place a bit more. Well, one of the main reasons I called you out here is, I'm not sure if it has a name, but it's some kind of forest spirit. Spirit? Like a ghost or something? No. Something physical. Some sort of massive creature. Like the forest came to life. Okay, this is new. Even the Crazier fans don't get this outlandish. But Tara's absolutely eating it up. No matter what her reasoning is, I'm glad she's having a good time. Is there anything else you can tell me about it? Does it speak or anything? Have you managed to interact with it at all? Is it a kaiju size or more basketball player size? I've only seen it once, unfortunately, so I don't know too much about it. I searched for it a number of times since, but without any results. Who knows, maybe the two of you will have better luck than I have. That's what you're best at, isn't it? In terms of talents, it's certainly up there. Morgan's mouth turns up into a small but seemingly genuine smile. Her expression grows slightly less intimidating. I knew you'd believe me. Nobody else around here does. I can't imagine why. I felt a pang of guilt as that thought crossed my mind. As crazy as her story sounds, it can't possibly be easy feeling rejected in a community this isolated. No wonder she was so eager to bring us into the fold. So, how far away would you say we are from the cabin? We should be coming up on it any minute now. I'll hope the two of you get situated and head back. I'll be happy to tell you more about the spirit tomorrow. Thank God. Oh, yeah, great. That's great. I'm exhausted. That much isn't a lie. All I want to do right now is pass out. We've passed the last of the houses that I can see, but the sparsely marked path continues on towards the forest. The last traces of civilization are behind us now. By any minute, what exactly did you mean? I can't keep the biting tone entirely out of my voice. Just ahead, see? She points forward into the darkness. I strain my eyes to see anything other than murk. Finally, I spot the faint outline of a small cabin practically swallowed by forest. I started the heater before I left to get you, so it should be warm. That's what I like to hear. You're like Prometheus. I'm surprised you know who that is. Why, I love that movie. Morgan suddenly jerked the reins and the horse comes to a stop. Tara and I rattled from our seats and nearly fall forward. Damn it. What? What happened? Rather than answer, Morgan just glares into the darkness where the cabin is. I strain to see what she does as my heart starts to race. Is it a wild animal? A bear? Wolf? There, the sound of footsteps as a shadow detaches itself from the cabin and moves toward us. A human shadow. An older woman comes into view, stopping just at the edge of the lantern's light. She's clearly related to Morgan. Her angular features and steely eyes, barely visible in the dark, make her look like she stepped out of a Bourgeois painting. Why are you here? I came to greet our guests. She spits the word "are," clearly asserting some sort of ownership. I suck in an involuntary breath as she approaches. Being able to see her more clearly isn't a reassurance. If anything, it's the opposite. Something about her radiates hostility. Even the horses seem uncomfortable, the ears pressed back as they stamp their feet in the snow. Up close, her gaze is sharp and fierce. Her face is proud, but sunken cheekbones jutting out, as if her face doesn't quite fit. It makes her look older than she is. Which of you is Tara? Mouth drawn thin, she looks from me to Tara, then back again. Each second that passes makes the discomfort grow. I keep waiting for Morgan to intervene, but she doesn't. Tara and I exchange a quick, nervous glance. Then she clears her throat and leans forward, offering a handshake. That's me! The woman regards Tara's outstretched hand for a moment and ignores it. Welcome to Eisenfield. My name is Evelyn, the mayor. Who are you? She flicks to me like a hand on the clock. I'm Maddie. Madison, Tara's manager. I see. It's clear she's judging us, though I have no idea on what. Are you done yet? They're tired. You can interrogate them later. Just what exactly is she volunteering us for? Interrogate is kind of a strong word. Our host makes absolutely no effort to disguise the loathing in her voice. In a town as small as this one, I can't imagine that speaking to someone as important as the mayor like that is a good idea. Even though Evelyn appears entirely unfazed. She remains in the middle of the trail, blocking our path. She and Morgan stare each other down while Tara and I sit in painful, uncomfortable silence. After at least a minute, the mayor finally steps out of the way and heads back the way we came. We'll speak later. It's clearly a command, not a request. The carriage sits immobile until the sound of Evelyn's footsteps are lost in the night. and even beyond that. So she seems, how do you put this, nice. Her statement seems to snap Morgan back to the present. Morgan flicks the reins, and we begin to move again. She turns around to face us, looking genuinely apologetic. I am so sorry about that. I thought she'd at least wait until tomorrow, and I'd have some time to prepare you beforehand. Is she your mom? Technically. What? No way! How could you tell? The family resemblance. Morgan pursed her lips. Unfortunate, isn't it? Long story short, I didn't tell you were going to be staying here until this morning. I'm speechless, hoping that it's just a joke and the punchline fell flat. But Morgan's clearly serious for the second time in a handful of minutes. I'm beginning to wonder what we've gotten ourselves into. Tara laughs, though I can tell it's forced. Well, that's not a big deal, right? It's not like she runs your life. Silence. Right? Eventually, Morgan nods. Right, we shouldn't get into this right now, though. I'm sure you'd rather sleep tonight. I can see that Tara's gathering the breath to disagree and tell Morgan that we'd love to hear all about her family issues right now, so I head her off. Yeah, we would. Whatever family drama it is that she's gotten us involved in, it can at least wait until I'm not about to pass out. The carriage comes to a stop just a few feet away from the door. A small stone path has the snow cleared away from it and leads to a short flight of stairs. We're facing a large window, although it's dark and impossible to see into. Morgan vaults out of the carriage, nimbly landing on her feet. I'll unlock the door. Your luggage already came in too, so it's inside. Tara launches herself out of the carriage just like Morgan did, and then she quickly scurries away from the patient horses, eyeing them for any sudden movements. I climb down as she stands an extremely safe distance away. It's like she's totally cool with the horses. Totally. What's happening? Oh, dogs. I can't carry all this on my own, you know. Try. I toss her bag and she lurches to catch it, barely keeping it from landing in the snow. We stand back and watch as Morgan fiddles endlessly with the lock on the door, pushing and trying again, over and over. Now that we're close to the end, I can feel the last reserves of energy rapidly draining. The bags in my arms feel like they weigh 1,000,000 pounds. So, what do you think? She mutters quietly as we can, though her timing couldn't be worse. I think I want to go to bed. Same as ever, then. You know me. Having my arms, I peer into the forest just beyond the first lines of trees. Everything fades into an inky blackness, thick and impenetrable, and really quiet right now, too. I shiver, not entirely because of the cold. A cool breeze rattles the empty branches as they scrape against each other, mimicking the way I'm trying to stay warm. Finally, there's a banging sound as Morgan solves the mystery of the lock and nearly falls through the door. She pokes her head back through like nothing happened. I got it open. Hallelujah. I haul my way inside and into the blessed warmth. It's been so long since we've been near a working heater. A small lamp on the side table casts a bit of a light over the small room. Our luggage is promised is scattered haphazardly around the living room. Just like home. Tara slips past me, bouncing around, examining it all. Her bags hurled as she carelessly as I pulled them out of the carriage. Oh my god! Holy shit! This is so cool! There's nothing really out of the ordinary, so I just stand there and wait for her to get it out of her system. And isn't this the coolest? It's like staying in a history museum. That's the kind of thing you usually treat like a punishment. Are you kidding me? I love history. We even did that whole series of history of the cryptids in the American Midwest. And I spent like 3 months on a special Bigfoot's impact on the Great Depression. It's one of my favorite episodes. I've never heard the theory that FDR was a cousin of Sasquatch. To be fair, I don't think FDR did either. Morgan laughs and I just roll my eyes. I mean the kind of history that actually happened. History is doomed to repeat itself, Mads. I didn't even respond. The whole episode felt like the plot of an awful low-budget B-movie. Instead, I crossed the living area towards a tiny hallway with a pair of identical doors. These are the bedrooms? That's right. We're the same size, so there's not much of a difference. Guess I'll take this one then. I push open the closer door. Inside, I find just 4 walls with a bed, shelf, and a small dresser. I drop my bag on the floor and roll my suitcase in. That is one big suitcase. Just what, we're like here for a month, right? Tara lingers in the living room, talking about the features of the cabin with Morgan. Suddenly I hear her yelp in pain or horror. I rush back out, knocking over my suitcase and nearly slamming into the door as I go. I half expect to see Morgan holding a bloody knife or something, but instead Tara's just holding her phone. What happened? A tragedy? Actually worse. The apocalypse. Check out your phone. I do as she says, expecting a news article or an alert or something, but there's nothing. What? I don't have anything. Exactly. No service out here. I check. Sure enough, she's right. There isn't the barest trace of a signal at all. What about Wi-Fi? I assume we have that, right? Technically. Oh no. I stocked up on books and downloaded a bunch of new films before we left, since I wasn't expecting to have much connection out here anyway. But I'm willing to bet the thought never even crossed Tara's mind. Good thing I picked a few books I think she'll like too. Tara glumly pockets her phone again as Morgan gives us a small smile. Let me give you a quick tour. I don't think it's entirely necessary, since we can see everything ourselves, but I don't stop her. This is the kitchen. There's a stove and an oven. The stove is somewhat picky and doesn't always like to work. Actually, I guess it's the same for the oven. Don't worry, I don't know how to cook anyway. Over here's the fireplace. I can show you how to chop firewood sometime if you like. I think I might pass on that one. And this is the couch. You can sleep on it if you like. It doesn't unfold into a bed or anything, but I sometimes come here and sleep on it anyway. But it doesn't even surprise me. The Wi-Fi password is on a note by the phone. So is my phone number, so you can reach me anytime. Do you have any questions? How's your phone work and ours doesn't? Unless she has a landline, I suppose that's what she means. I shake my head and look at Tara, who does the same. I think we're good. Thanks for all your help tonight, Morgan. It's my pleasure. Again, I can't thank you enough for coming all the way out here. I'll be sure to make it worth your time. I'm sure. Can't wait to get started. Me either, but I should probably be going for tonight. I've kept you up long enough as it is. She heads out the door, waving goodbye. Night, Morgan. Thanks again. Good night. Though the large window we can see as she walks. Through the large window we can see as she starts to make her way down the path. I'm going to go to bed too. Yeah, same. We'll switch off the lamp as we head to our respective rooms. Tara grabs her bags from the floor, where she tossed them. Alright, see you in the morning then? Yeah, night. I shut the door behind me and she does the same. I sway like a zombie as I stalk towards my bed. It takes the last of my strength to dig my pajamas out of my suitcase and change. There's a window here that looks straight out into the forest. The first thing I do is pull the curtain shut. Crawling into bed, I face away from the window and pull the blanket up to my chin. It's heavy and warm, and I wrap myself like a burrito. Bed is firmer than I'm used to, and the pillow thinner. There's like 3 other blankets, though, so I ball one of them up and use it as a second pillow. As I try to get comfortable, my thoughts start to drift off. A detached part of me is glad, but the timing worked out well enough to avoid jet lag. And in all, aside from the Wi-Fi, this is pretty much as far as accommodations go, especially since we're not paying for it. It seems strange that Morgan would come all the way out here just to take naps sometimes, but I can already tell most of what Morgan does would be considered strange. Strange but harmless, I don't mind, but when I think of her mother, the mayor, a chill runs down my spine, and I bundle myself even more tightly in the blankets. I should give her a second chance, though, especially if she didn't have any warning about our arrival. It stands to reason that she's very annoyed at Morgan renting out her family's cabin like that. I think I just went past another one. I don't know. I'll just be extra polite to her the next time we meet. Hopefully it isn't like an interrogation like Morgan said. It was probably her just being dramatic. I yawn, wishing sleep would come faster. I expect to be out before my head hit the pillow, not lying here with my thoughts racing. I try to black out everything and focus on my breathing. In, out, in, out, in. My heart leaps to my throat as I sat bolt upright in bed. I get tangled in the blankets, scrambling to haul them off me. With one hand, I desperately feel for my glasses nearby. I finally find them and shove them onto my face, nearly jabbing my eye out. With horror, I look at the window, one that made me uncomfortable from the start. It's Morgan. Lantern in hand, fist raised against glass. Oh, it's not creepy at all, girl. Just, hi! She stands there patiently. If she knows what kind of emotional roller coaster she just put me through, she doesn't show it. Shakingly, I walk over to the window, not even switching on the lamp. With some difficulty, I wrench it open, just disturbing a small mound of snow. Yes? It's the best I can manage. Anything longer, and I'm not sure I could keep it civil. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. Please be ready to go by 8, and I'll come pick you up. I just blink, unable to comprehend what I'm hearing. Is that okay? We can make it 8:30, but no later. No, 8 is fine. Is that all? That's right. Have a good night. Sorry if I disturbed you. I slammed the window shut and hobbled back to bed. She doubled back in the snow and scared the hell out of me for that. I checked the time on the phone. It's nearly midnight. 8 hours of sleep, and then I'll be ready to go. It's going to be a long month, isn't it? I wasn't expecting this style. It's 8 hours and 34 minutes later. I know, because telling time is my phone's only remaining function, yet I still check it constantly, like something might change. True to her word, Morgan was there to pick us up right at 8. It's a minor miracle, but Tara and I are both ready to go. I don't know who had it worse, me waking up to an alarm or Tara waking up to me banging on her door. Even now, she slowly eats a piece of bread from the kitchen, looking for all the world like a cow chewing cud. With each bump that the carriage hits, my tiny cup of coffee threatens to spill onto my hand. I'm not sure how I'd feel. Not sure I'd feel it. Sure it's cold. After answering Morgan's perfunctory questions about our first night, we spent the rest of the ride in silence. She didn't acknowledge at all that she had knocked my window. Apparently it was remarkable enough for her to deserve another mention. I watched her from over her shoulder now as we approached the town. In the train last night, the scattered lights made Eisenfield appear to be a lot larger than it really is. Now in the daylight, I have to strain my eyes to pick up some of the buildings against the hills and snow. Tara's missing it all, staring at her feet, crumbs littering the floor beneath her. Morgan guides along a path that I'm pretty sure is the same one as last night. A few villagers move out of the way of our carriage, not even turning to look. It must be a regular occurrence. Even though it's hard for anyone to see us in here, I still feel self-conscious. I clutch the bag of camera gear tighter to my chest, hiding myself behind it. There aren't any other carriages on the road, nor any bigger than a pushcart, so we still stand out, at least in my head. If this situation is at all awkward or out of the ordinary to Morgan, she doesn't show it. She pulls the reins and the carriage comes to a stop in the road. There aren't as many other people up here, but what few there are give us a wide berth. And here we are. Tara finally perks up with the words clearly spoken for her benefit. It takes me a moment to realize that we've made an entrance, but as soon as she does, she's in showbiz mode. She leaps to her feet, throwing off the exhaustion like a disguise. Here we are indeed! She vaults out of the carriage, spinning circles like we're in the middle of a grand plaza instead of the middle of the street. I climb up more carefully and then scurry out of the way. Okay, this rules! It really does feel like we've traveled back in time. The buildings, all built from wood and stone, look like they've been there for centuries. The road that we're on, and currently blocking, is made of cobblestone. It winds its way through town, despite being covered in well-turned snow. We're certainly a long way from home. Morgan doesn't disembark from the carriage, instead calls down to us. Town Square is right down this road, but if I take you there, I won't be able to turn the carriage around. It's always been a pain when that happens. I'm going to open up my shop, but feel free to come by whenever you like. I'm sorry I can't show you around right now, but I'll make it up to you later. Where's your shop? Oh, right. She pulls a piece of paper from somewhere and dangles it towards me. I cross the room and take it from her. Unfolding, I can see that it's a map. Despite being hand-drawn, it's pretty coherent and legible. Certain buildings like Morgan's shop and the local pub are dominated by handwritten tags. At the middle of the road where we're currently standing, she's even drawn in a helpful "You are here" notice with a smiley face. She's clearly planned this well in advance. Cool, thanks. Feel free to stop by around lunch. I'll make you both something. Hell yeah, you're the best, Morgan. Thanks. Morgan gives us a brief wave before heading off. Wherever it is, you park horse-drawn carriages. I point in the direction of town square Morgan mentioned, wanting to get away from all the people who are currently gawking at us. We definitely stick out, if only because our colorful hair and clothes, combined with their outfits, have the color pattern of a bowl of oatmeal. Although they stare, nobody really says anything, either too polite or too intimidated. Both Tara and I avoid eye contact with strangers as we hurry to the empty town square. Well, that couldn't have gone any worse. Oh, there's a million ways it could have gone worse. People looking at us funny is the only downside of this trip, then it will be our best episode yet. I mean, ever. I wish she'd stop bringing that up. It always kills the mood, which is barely on life support to begin with. Tara rubs her shoulders, having stubbornly chosen not to dress any warmer today. Okay, ready to get your paranormal on, Mads? I shrugged my camera bag onto my shoulder and nodded. I suppose there's no harm in spending a little time establishing the location. Might as well get some B-roll while we're here. One thing that both Tara and I have in common is that we're not really sightseers. I spend as much time in my room as I can, whether that's the hotel room while we're filming or my bedroom at home. So as much as Tara loves investigations and all the dramatic stuff, she'd probably totally skip the exposition segments if she did leave them to me. It means that we're pretty efficient at filming them. I turn on the camera and slowly turn a circle, capturing the ground, sky, and some nearby buildings for footage that we can splice together later. I do a slow pan across some of the houses in frame and hold a shot of the path further into the village. A young couple passes by, holding hands, and they share a suspicious look at the camera as they go by. I guess I'm editing that part out later. Most of the time, making paranormal videos is just me finding ways to stretch 10 seconds of interesting footage into a 10-minute video. That's something else that we're both good at. The cold wind makes it hard to keep a steady grip, so I stow the camera and shove my hands into my pockets. Get anything cool? Unable to browse our phone like she usually does while waiting, Tara watches over my shoulder as I record. Not really, there's not much to see here. Yeah, it's kind of impressive up close. It's the kind of place you expect a tumbleweed to blow through, like if the climate fit. Wow, you're turning into quite the poet. Oh, shut up. What? It was a compliment. Anyway, since filming the village is a dud right now, we should follow up one of the rumors Morgan was talking about the other night. I'm thinking giant tree spirit. That's the most interesting one she talks about for sure. That's the headline. We need to build up to that one. Oh yeah, definitely. Picture this. We head to the woods to get some creepy shots. We do it right around sundown. Make it super ambient. Like lots of atmosphere, wind sounds, maybe a wolf howl. You've got a good wolf sound effect we could use, right? Yeah, of course. Anyway, I do a narration over that, introducing where we are and what we're out here looking for. Then we get a sound of a big branch snapping and just cut the video right there. Tara looks pleased with herself and glances back at me for approval. It takes me a minute to react. So, end the video on a cliffhanger? Yeah, I think so. That will definitely stretch the Eisenfield stuff into a mini-series or something. We should be able to get at least 3 episodes worth of stuff out there. That sounds fine. A snapping branch is a pretty weak way to end it though, especially since, like, we upload the video and nobody's gonna wonder if we're okay or not. Oh, that's true. So you think maybe we should make it one long vid or end it differently? Maybe a different ending. I'll think of something later. Cool. You're the best, Mads. I smile. It hurts a little. I'm sure she's not trying to make me feel bad. She probably doesn't know, but I do. I just shrug, wanting to change the subject. We can also follow up on some of the smaller rumors, like her email she mentioned. She mentioned mysterious lights on the forest. Like will-o'-the-wisp. I those actually real? You're the expert. You should know that, not me. Tara stares at me expectantly. Yes, they're real, but it's just swamp gas. It doesn't matter though, because we need to wait for nighttime for that stuff. It's not very spooky during the daytime. In that case, we definitely want to talk to locals, see what kind of rumors they've heard of, that kind of thing. Right, that's definitely the smart thing to do. We both faced back towards the street we came, where Morgan dropped us off with all those nosy people who just stared at us but wouldn't talk. Awkwardly. Or we could get some more establishing shots from other parts of the village. I like that idea. We pick a different direction at random and start walking. As we head further into town, it starts to get more lively, and there are more people around. That might just be the time of day, though. A couple folks level show in front of their houses. A group of children run up and down the street, accompanied by a sagging basset hound. A woman wearing what appears to be an entire bear fur coat shuffle past us. Wherever we go, the villagers watch, just unabashedly. No one makes any attempts to talk to us, and conversation falls silent whenever we come near. I wonder if there was some sort of order given to not speak with us, or if it just happens naturally. I try to force myself to ignore it. We're not doing anything wrong, we're just a curiosity. The only interesting thing about us is our out-of-townness. Morgan said that there are rarely ever visitors out here. It's not hard to imagine why. There doesn't seem to be much worth visiting. Still, if you're going to keep this up, it's going to make those interviews even harder to do. Tara taps me on the shoulder, nodding in the direction of some of our observers. Is it just me, or is there a kind of creepy, silly, serial killer vibe going on here? Oh my god, can you not? Hey, I'm just kidding, just trying to lighten the mood a bit. My reaction, having ruined our chance at that, neither of us speak again. I unpack the camera again and film a few of the storefronts as we go. As long as I'm surreptitious enough, most people don't notice and thus don't change their behavior. Inevitably, wherever someone does see me filming, they tense up and just stare, ruining the take. It's like they've never seen a camera before. Maybe that's not far from the truth. One thing I have to give Eisenfield's credit is that there's more personality in its construction than I thought at first. Most of the buildings seem to be people's homes, but it doesn't take us long to find a few storefronts here and there. The names are simple and plain, like you read on a tabletop RPG book. Heiken and Sons Tailoring, a butcher shop named the Hardy Sow, that sort of thing. While we pass by a tavern called the Bushy Beard, I can hear Tara snickering behind me. Do you think they have barmaids? What? Like the sexy Oktoberfest kind? Do you think they have those here? Tara's words are so out of nowhere, but they take me a second to mentally process. This isn't a Renaissance fair, Tara. I'm pretty sure they just wear normal clothes to work. Tara's mouth gapes wide open. Wait, what? Back up. Ren fairs have sexy barmaids? Where else do you think they come from? I have no idea. I always thought those things were just full of boring stuff. What? Not at all. They have swordplay demonstrations, a time period appropriate foods. Sometimes local experts will give talks or lectures on certain topics, and, like I said, boring stuff. Whatever. There's much to it than just cosplay. I bet you'd actually like it if you went with me next time. Plus, I thought you loved history now. Not that boring kind of history. Duh. How are swords boring? Whatever, Mads. She walks away. How did I manage to lose an argument she started? We cut a slow but steady course through the village. Despite how random the layout seems, it's impossible to get lost. All the roads seem to lead back into each other. I'm so used to the sounds of busy intersections and highways that the near silence here is almost unnerving. I can appreciate the serenity and calm of it all, but I think I'd go crazy if I had to live here. We're not even a full day in it, and I can't help but miss my cozy apartment and the convenience of a city life. Eventually, we take a path that brings us back to a familiar sight, the town square that we visited right before Morgan dropped us off. According to my phone, it's a little bit over an hour since then. It's still too early to meet with Morgan for lunch. I guess we can't keep putting this off any longer. I think I've had enough of the town now. Do you want to start interrogating the villagers. Interviewing! I didn't even notice myself misspeaking. I guess I still have interrogations on the mind after being the mayor last night. Tara poses dramatically, hyping herself up for the camera. I'm not even recording it. Time to put my game face on. As long as it's a game face that people want to talk to. Mads, when have I been anything but charming? She sighs. Yeah, I know. I'll keep it chill for these, so don't freak anyone out. But like, how do we do this? Just go up to people and ask if we can chat? I guess I don't have any better ideas. This is how we usually do it. Except usually people are more curious about what we are and what we're doing. Sometimes after introducing ourselves, there are even people who have heard of us. That's definitely not the case out here. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Morgan was the only person in this whole village that uses YouTube. The only thing more awkward than just asking random people for an interview is them staring silently while you approach. But we don't have any other options. I hand the mic to Tara. At least I'm not the only one who has to do the talking. Tara stands there with the mic in hand. And stands there. You good? Yeah, I am. Just give me a second, okay? Okay. She psychs herself up by stretching and taking a few deep breaths. The whole time she holds the mic pinched between two fingers like something she just peeled off her shoe. Once she's finally ready, she gives me a thumbs up and starts to walk again. I trail a couple meters behind, keeping her back framed in the middle of the shot. She moves with a determined stride, but I can see the microphone shaking in her hand. We pass by a few people walking around, but she doesn't stop any of them, nor does she ask any of the folks outside the building, chatting or working, or just sitting and looking bored. Just up ahead, a middle-aged woman smokes a cigarette, looking at nothing and no one in particular. It doesn't look like she's going anywhere, and she's not already in the middle of conversation. She's the perfect candidate, and Tara must know it too. I wait for her to go up and introduce herself. I just stand there and hit the record button, filming her approach. Except she doesn't. She walks right past the lady whose gaze follows us as she goes. I pause the recording and hurry to catch up, hissing Tara's name. I have to say it twice before she hears me and stops. What's up? What are you waiting for? We've passed like a dozen people now. Right, but none of them are the right one. Which one is the right one? You know it's impossible to tell. I'll know when I see them. I roll my eyes, but don't chastise her. She's trying her best. Oh, okay, here we go. Get ready. I follow her line of sight to figure out her prey, an older man resting on a bench nearby. Broad-shouldered and with a long beard, he looks like a stereotype of a lumberjack. Like the previous woman, he stares vapidly off in the distance, thoughts clearly elsewhere. Once again, I plant my feet. It's at the shop. I take a micro-adjustment to the focus until I get it just right. The rest is up to Tara. I'd say I hit space for the camera. I don't know. Slowly, Tara approaches the man. Either he doesn't see her coming, or he ignores her. She glances at me for reassurance, which I give in the form of a smile and a nudging motion, telling her to get on with it. She clears her throat, grabbing the man's attention. He turns to her slowly and eyes her suspiciously. Then he notices me in the camera and he tenses up. Not off to a good start. Tara talks quickly, trying to explain the situation as he examines us, right? Hi there, my name is Tara Brick. My friend Maddie and I are visiting from out of town doing a report in Eisenfield. I was wondering if we could ask you a few questions. Report? What kind of report? He relaxes a little bit. The man rubs his eyes warily, peering back and forth between me and Tara. I wish he'd stop looking directly into the camera. I slowly start to move laterally, trying to frame the two of them better, but he keeps shifting on the bench to watch me. It's an investigation on the supernatural, rumors, ghost stories, that sort of thing. We've heard a lot of legends about Eisenfield, and we're really into them, trying to figure out what's true and what isn't. Figure out the truth, huh? The man mutters darkly, his browed eyes still flipping between me and Tara. He chewed his lip while he thinks about it. Something about his face strikes me as odd, but I can't figure out what it is. It's probably just a trick of the camera or the light. Well, alright, I suppose I've got the time. He takes Tara a beat to respond. We're both sure he was going to tell us to bug off or worse. Great, thank you! So, can you tell me about Eisenfield? Just what is life like here on an average day? That sort of thing. Exactly. She don't expect to get this far, and that's the first thing that comes to mind. She offers the man the mic, but he just stares uncomfortably until she retracts it. Right. Well, it's a good little town, good and proper, quiet, real quiet. That's what I like about it. None of the city business, no noise and bustle. Out here it's just you and nature. That suits me just fine, it does. So you're from around here then? Spent your life in Eisenfield? Born and raised, and God willing I'll die out here too. Never thought about leaving, never had a reason to. That's great, but I imagine you know all about any local legends, right? About as well as anyone. Any old village has got its stories. If you believe them all, there's goblins in the woods, trolls in the mountains, and who knows what else elsewhere. Of course, it's only children that believe in those. So you've never seen anything weird yourself? Nothing unexplainable? Weird like what? By now, the old man is abandoned, looking at Tara entirely instead of focused on the camera. His eyes looking strangely focused. One of our friends here mentioned something about a big forest spirit, like a walking tree kind of thing. He sits up from his slouch, finally turning to face Tara. What friend of yours might that be? She's from around here, one of the locals. Even though we gave her a shout in one of our videos, Tara's reluctant to name Morgan as our contact. It makes sense. Her neighbors surely feel differently about us than our viewers do. I bet it was the Fisher girl, wasn't it? If you know what's best for you, you'll steer clear of her. Nothing but trouble comes from that one. Nothing at all. Tara and I exchanged a glance. Seeming her thoughtfulness was irrelevant. At the same time, I'm suddenly a lot more interested in what this guy has to say. Why do you say that? It feels like a strange violation of privacy to ask the stranger's opinion of our host, but she's notorious enough that anyone on the street knows of her, then perhaps we're better off knowing why. Speaking to Snow, our subject stands and turns his back to us. There are some questions you ought not be asking, miss. I'll be going now. Enjoy yourselves. He lumbers off into the town, though I don't watch it for long. Questions we ought not to be asking, huh? I'm not sure if that's a threat or not. For the sake of my anxiety, I try and tell myself it's not. I join Tara on the bench, doing my best to avoid the puddles of melted snow. That was something? That's putting it nicely. I don't know what that was either. Maybe Tara's right. It was something. You get it all? She taps 2 fingers against the camera in my hand. Of course. All too uncomfortable minutes. I wasn't given a lot to work with there. I replayed the recording while Tara leaned over to watch along with me. It's not any less awkward the second time through. Well, we already know we need to talk to a few different people. Just got unlucky with the first one. You know what I mean? Tara stands up, but I remain seated. Still need another minute? I don't say anything. I'm trying to think of what to say. Hello? Earth Maddie, please respond. I'm thinking. My voice is too harsh and snappy, and we both know it. I play through the clip again, and this time without Tara watching. Something still seems off to me, and it's not just the gruff way he left. Look, we know Morgan was a bit weird. All our fans are weird. That's why there are fans. In a tiny little town like this, of course, anyone who's different is gonna have a reputation. That doesn't make Morgan a bad person. I'm not saying she's a bad person. I didn't say anything. But if you had to ask, I'm sitting here thinking that's really freaky, shady, but this guy just guessed that we were here with Morgan, and then he just up and left as soon as he found out. That's not normal. It's not something that happened to us before. Oh, great! That means we're on the right track. If they're hiding something, then that means there's something to hide! Have you completely lost your mind? This is ridiculous, even for Tara. I can understand her wanting to give Morgan a chance, but actually buy into her nonsense? Tara nods and looks down at her feet, brushing some snow off her shoes. It's only been a couple hours, Mads. He's just one old cranky geezer. Please, let's try to have some patience on this one, okay? For me? I checked my watch. It hasn't even been 2 hours. It only makes her more right, as much as I hate to admit it. Sighing, I placed my head in my hands. Sorry, I guess I'm tired. It's okay. After a long moment, I stand. Wanna find somebody else? I guess we oughta. What? Looks like they're Finding more people. I think we're gonna take a break here. This seems like a good place to have a stop. There's a lot going on. That's all I can say. It's like, wow. So we're gonna end it here for now. We'll do some more later. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think the forest spirit could be? So I'll see you later. Until then, bye. Casting out. Have a good one, guys.